Hello, welcome to another note-taking video. In this video, I'll explain the note-taking technique called diagrams. And so diagrams have a couple other names too. They can sometimes be called a flowchart or sometimes a mind map. And these are kind of similar ideas. And so in this video, I'll explain how to make a mind map or a flowchart or a diagram. Same idea. So a diagram, it visually shows the relationship between ideas. And so it uses shapes, like for example circles and squares, to represent different ideas. So for example, you could use circles to represent one category and squares to represent a different category of information in your notes, so that when you're looking at your notes later, that information becomes clear to you. So for example, a square could be a main point of a lecture, and a circle could be a supporting detail. Or it could be something completely different, but it's up to you. Also, diagrams use arrows to show the relationship between ideas. So arrows show like a direction. And you can use this to show cause and effect and time order, or other things too if you get creative. So in this video, we'll look at some examples of how to use arrows and shapes to show cause-effect and time-order relationships. So let's look at some examples. Time order. So if you hear this, after I studied abroad in Germany, I changed my college major to German. I wanted to go back to Europe, so I became an English teacher in Austria. Eventually, I came to Japan to teach English. So in this example, there's a time order of things that happen first, second, third, etc. So the first thing, I studied abroad in Germany. Second, I changed my college major to German. Third, I became an English teacher in Austria. Fourth, I came to Japan to teach English. So this is the order of events. And we can use squares and arrows to show these ideas. So a diagram for this might look like this. So the first, study abroad in Germany, then changed major to German, then became an English teacher, then became an English teacher in Japan. So this shows first, second, third, fourth. So this is an example of time order in a diagram. Also, we can use these to show cause and effect. So when you're doing cause and effect, it basically follows this system. So there's cause, and then the arrow points to the effect, like this. Except you would change the information based on what you're hearing. So let's look at some examples. So you would hear this: smoking can cause cancer, which often leads to death. So here we can make a diagram for this that looks like that. Smoking, cancer, death. So here we have a cause and effect relationship. So these arrows show cause pointing to effect. Let's look at some more examples. So here we can mix time order and cause and effect. Actually, I don't recommend doing this, but it's possible. And in this example, I just want to show you a way that you can show your information visually. So this is the same time order that we talked about before. Study abroad in Germany, changed major to German, became English teacher in Austria, became English teacher in Japan. There's one piece of missing information from the original lecture, which is this. I wanted to go back to Europe, so I became an English teacher in Austria. So here, this circle, so I used the circle to show that it's a little bit different. So this is actually a cause, and this dotted arrow shows that this is a cause and effect relationship, not a time relationship. So this is, again, this is a little bit dangerous, because if you mix your ideas, it can become confusing. But it is possible, and if you're organized and consistent, it's possible to mix time order and cause and effect in your notes. Let's look at some more examples. So here's a very short lecture. Smoking leads to many negative things. For example, smoking can cause lung disease, heart disease, and can lead to generally poor health. So here is the diagram that you might use for this. Notice it kind of uses an effect that takes up a lot of the paper. So it goes up and down. It all comes out from the middle. And some people like this type of organization. So if you like this type of organization, I recommend trying a diagram as a form of note-taking. But again, notice, smoking leads to many negative things. So smoking is the cause, and these are the effects. Lung disease, heart disease, poor health. These are the effects of smoking. So be careful with your arrows. Always points from cause to effect. All right, another example. There are many reasons why people start smoking. These causes of smoking include peer pressure, stress from work or school, and the influence of TV and movies. So here's how we can make a diagram from this. So notice this is not the effect of smoking, this is the cause of smoking. So smoking is the effect, and this information is the cause. In other words, reasons why people start smoking. So peer pressure causes smoking. Stress causes smoking. Influence of TV and movies causes smoking. But notice there's some other information too in this lecture. So we know, where does the stress come from? It comes from work and it comes from school. So here we can use, again, lines and circles to show information. But notice these lines are not arrows. They're just lines. And so you can use this to show it's just supporting information, but there's no cause and effect relationship. So what are the advantages of a diagram? Well, one advantage is that they show relationships of ideas very well. So for example, it's very easy to see what is the cause and what is the effect, because arrows show this idea very well. And the information is very easy to visualize in your mind and easy to remember, because you can think about the picture. And some people, if you connect a picture to an idea, it helps build your memory. So these are the advantages of diagrams. The disadvantages, it requires planning. So that means you can't just take a diagram in class. You can't write a diagram first. You must first do a first draft of notes. So listen and write what the teacher says, and then later make a diagram. So copy your notes again, but with pictures this time, because you don't know how much space it will take on your paper in the beginning. So a diagram takes up a lot of paper, and it requires planning. It's also slow. So like I said, you can't do it the first time. So the diagram is always at least the second copy of your notes, because the first time you just have to write quickly, and the diagram's too slow to do the first time. All right, good luck on your notes, and remember, choose a style of notes that you like. Choose a style of note-taking that works well for you. Good luck, and see you next time.